the season's really starting to shape now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. You're starting to see that. We're going to still see what we thought might still be upsets for the next couple of rounds. But, yeah, a couple of the big dogs starting to flex their muscles, no doubt about it.
I definitely think you're right. So, all right, let's jump straight in. Let's start in Division 1 and let's hoe in, because a couple of weeks ago I said I wouldn't write off Montmorency yet. They have way too much talent. Maybe just started the season a fraction shaky, and they're back. 110-point winners over Banyule, 25-13, 163, 33 scoring shots to Banyule, 7-11, 53. I don't know what you can say about a 110-point win other than holy moly. They are back because Banyule beat Greensboro a couple of weeks ago. That tells me, they're in great shape. Their best players, Lentini on fire. When you got Lentini, Holmes as your first two, you've had a cracking game. Matty Clark, Sam Binion, Stefan Uzelak, and Nicholas Uzelak. That's just huge. JLV for Banyule in the best again. He's just every week he's there, which is sensational. Langford Jones, Martin Nielsen, and Seraphin. So for them, fantastic first up. But Montmorency, they're back in a big way.
Absolutely. We were all sitting here 2 weeks ago. Where are they at? And we were talking about the fact that if West Preston knocked them off, that they would have been sitting on the bottom of the ladder.
100%.
But we kept saying that list had too much talent whatsoever.
Way too much talent.
And, they're starting to go. And it's no surprise, when you've got Lentini, Nash coming back, leading the whale, then that's just such a talented list, and they're really starting to get things together.
They're a side that are so dangerous, and we have the luxury of having a look at some of the statistics in front of us of what they did, but they've pretty much won disposals, kicks, handballs, contested possessions, total ground ball gets. They've won everything, gathers off the ground. Their kicking, their disposal efficiency wasn't as good as Banyule, but they just had so much more of the ball. So, of course, that's going to be a natural side of that. And then you start to have a look at some of their players, how dominant they are, as I just click on the disposals. So for both sides, 52 disposals, Marcus Lentini.
That's outrageous.
That's outrageous. 207 ranking points. And then you say, well, he won't be beaten. Well, just underneath him on 41 stats for the game is Nash Holmes and 205 ranking points. And then JLV on the losing side, 31 disposals and 128 ranking points.
Yeah.
Jeepers creepers. That's huge. And then, the drop-off's pretty huge. You're down to 23 possessions, which generally isn't too bad. But
I wouldn't have minded 23 possessions again.
Mate, I wouldn't have minded that, I think, once in my career. But, so when you look at that, Montmorency off to an absolute flyer now. They're back. And for me, Hurstbridge or them will finish second. If I was redoing my final five at the moment, I had Greensboro finishing second. I actually don't think Greensboro can finish second based on their slow start to the year.
Season,
Even though Montmorency had a very similar start, they've bounced back with 100-point wins. Against the side Greensboro lost to.
Yeah, and I think, Montmorency are back playing the football the last couple of weeks that we expected from them at the start of the year.
100%.
So started a little bit slowly, but as we know, you work into the season, you find your feet,
100%.
And a talented list like that, they're really showcasing where they're at.
I think that it could be absolutely anything for Montmorency. It could be their year.
Do you think they can challenge?
I do.
Yeah,
I actually think on paper
their best can challenge Heidelberg.
When I tipped them to finish third or fourth at the start of the year, they didn't have Camden McIntosh, and an on-fire Camden McIntosh makes that side 10% better,
absolutely
8% better. So no brainer. Everyone knows my little love affair with Marcus Lentini, and it's a bit one way. Greensboro play them this week. I spoke to their president Justin Mills this morning. We're going to commentate the game there. I don't usually commentate away games, but I'm going to commentate the Montmorency Greensboro game this weekend. And I got to tell you, I'm cheekily. I can't wait to watch Lentini and Nash Holmes in action because I love both of them. They're just – I love the way they go about it.
At their best, they're as good as any midfielders in any local comp.
When Luke Collins left, I was like, righto, Lentini's my man, and I do. I love watching him, and I love how he goes about it. And So that's those guys. Let's move forward. Greensboro versus Diamond Creek. Obviously, I commentated that game with
What
Benny
did you
Keane.
think? You were there?
Look, Diamond Creek for me, I've watched twice now this season. I watched them against Bundoora and I watched them against Greensboro. If I was saying their game style, they tie the ball up elite.
Right. Yep. So defensively, as a unit, they work really, really well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But it's then the game might be too much about tying the ball up now. So they need to get the ball forward. When they went down the middle and they switched and went down the middle, they were electrifying, but there just wasn't enough of that.
Right.
But,
okay.
Greensboro played very well. I actually thought Greensboro might have won by 30 points here. I think I tipped them 30 points. They won by 22, 21. But Greensboro were good and made a lot of errors. Right. So if they get that component going right, you got to remember they've been smashed with the injuries.
Yes.
So Will Mitchell's still out for another 3 or 4 weeks. He's a superstar. They just got back Ben Fisher this week, and they just got back Nathan Howard, their ruckman.
Yeah.
They still don't have Zach McCubbin, who I think's electrifying.
Yeah, fantastic player.
So you bring those 3 back in and have access at the back end of the season to Tom Mitchell. That's why they still make the 5.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
But they've got Heidelberg this week. It's going to be tough. So, really, Diamond Creek this week. But Bundoora has Heidelberg. Greensboro have Montmorency. That's going to be tough.
Wow. Okay.
Really tough. So for Greensy, best on, they gave Ryan Commander. I think he did a fantastic job on Taj Logan, but I didn't have him best on ground. I thought Ben Ham, who didn't get named in the best here, I thought Ben Ham was best on ground, followed by Harry Andronico. He was sensational. Jackson Davies after that
again
rounded out my top 3. Probably a bit rough on a couple of the other boys who had good games, but Ben Ham for me was what held that game together. For your man, for Diamond Creek, Nicholas Barrow, they gave best on ground.
Nick.
I liked him a lot. Nick Bott, Brenton Keating, sensational. Jacob Booth, Jesse Thompson, Matty Lewis. They'll take a lot out of this game, Diamond Creek. They're the real deal. I promise you this. They're not getting relegated. And will they pinch 5th spot? For me, that's them or Bundoora or Eltham.
At 4-10, if that was 10-4, you know what I mean? And if maybes and all the rest of it, they're
2 weeks in a row
right in it.
So Andrew Tranquilli will take a lot out of these 2 games, gets the guys 3 sets, and they haven't been beaten heavily.
So is that the early plan? So you come up into 1st division.
Yep.
We knew many years ago that they started with that defensive mindset.
Yes.
You know, in 2nd division, they were very strong there. And then they really came to the fore in the grand final last year, blew McLeod away in that game. And we thought, wow, have they got that offensive side starting? Now they've gone up into 1st division. Is it, let's not get blown away first. We start from that again, and then we'll build our offensive
100%.
Game at the higher level
I think they're
into
good enough.
the season.
I actually think Diamond Creek are good enough to play finals.
In their first year up.
In their first year, I think they can get 5th.
Okay.
But they will need to beat Eltham.
Bundoora.
And Bundoora.
That
Well, they
sort of
beat
group.
Bundoora. They beat them last week by a
But
point.
it'll be that sort of group, won't it? It'll be Bundoora, it'll be Eltham.
I think so.
North Heidelberg, would you throw
North
in there
Heidelberg,
or just
definitely
under?
throw them in. Banyul's going to have to get their skates on. They've only won the 1 game, so they've only got the 4 points.
They've had a tough start.
They've had a tough start, but, you know, they've still got to play some of those lesser sides, so quite easily for them to bounce back. I wouldn't discount them from taking that 5th spot either. Even though they're only on 4 points, a lot's going to have to go right. The depth's going to have to be there, but
they're bringing a lot of young guys in the team, right?
I don't think they'll care if they finish 6th this year. They'll care, but they're building, they're rebuilding.
Absolutely, and I think they were pretty upfront with that. You know, they had somewhere between 10, 15 departures of senior players last year.
Yes.
Then they said, right, we're going to focus on our youth. We're going to bring that up. We want to stay up. We want to get games into these young guys, and that's what they're doing. So I think we have a look at them again in another 3 weeks, 4
we will
weeks,
have a different opinion.
And where are they at?
I agree. Now, when it comes to stats, I had Jacob Booth on best on ground myself. We thought he was the best Diamond Creek player on the day, myself and Ben, and he had 30 disposals, 160 ranking points. Now, Harrison Andronico had 23 and 100 ranking points, whereas we had Ben Ham down there. The other player who had, I'm just trying to see where Josh is. Josh Bolton had 16 touches, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is where touches and stats don't do it.
Yep.
What he did defensively was sensational. He would be in my best 3-4.
Really?
Yep, Josh Bolton was sensational on the weekend.
One for the defenders.
Mate,
I like that.
He, you can't measure that. These stats don't let you measure that. I said Bolton, I think, 25 times. Now, he only had 15 touches, but he stopped their forward kicking goals, and he done those little things like punch from behind. There's no statistics in that.
For that, yeah.
You know, so I thought I want to give a real special mention to Joshy Bolton because I thought he was sensational. So they did pretty well. I think Greensborough will take a lot from that game while they're still waiting for injury players to come back.
Yep.
The big win for me, the upset for the weekend, was Eltham got the job done 13-13-91 over North Heidelberg, 11-7-73. I tipped Eltham at home, but it was one I was a bit nervous
Flip
about.
of the coin.
You know, I love Bongo. Everyone knows I love Tim Bongetti. He's an absolute gentleman. And I love Casey as well.
Yeah.
But Eltham are just different.
Yeah, they are.
They have such a good supporter base at home. They have a confidence on that big MCG type ground.
Yep. They just play that ground so well.
Straighter down the tram tracks. And I'm not surprised to see that's the result. I'm happy for Bongo. I think it's the win they need to have. And for me, this is why they can be that other side that plays off in finals and goes that next step. I'm going to make the call. They didn't spend a ton of money this year, I don't reckon. I reckon they consolidated with what they've got for a year, thinking this year might be a tough one to win anyway against Heidelberg, and I reckon they got dividends for that for sure here.
They would have set a goal, though. This is our year that we want to have some finals action. We want to get some finals experience into this team.
Yep.
And I reckon Bongo would be setting, that for them as a group.
100%.
They've had great 19s. They've had great.
It's hard to stay up.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think that's a big win. When you consider that's another team that's going to be fighting for spots that we think that's
so
sort of
even, isn't it?
fourth and fifth.
Yeah.
And so they've pinched one. It's, to use the old term, an 8-point game.
Yes.
They've grabbed the 4 points on this one at home, which they needed to bank if they were going to be any sort of chance later in the year.
So for them, Alex Jacobs, Colin Culligan again, Nathan Jensen, Jason McCormick, all in the best for those guys. They consistently are thereabouts. Seb Malloy in there as well. And for North Heidelberg, Parker Heatley, I think that might be the first time he's been in the best, but he kicked a bag of 5 as well, which was good. Jesse Wallen, Will Campbell, Curtis Brown, he's electrifying, this kid. He's very, very good. Brock Cherkop, always thereabouts, and Brady Bell. So, I mean, from that game, I think those sides will take, if I have a look at the ladder while we're doing this on the fly, North Heidelberg dropped down from 5th to 7th, and Eltham go into the top 4. So they're 4th with 12 points. Bongo will be happy with being 3-2 at this point of the season. They got one just over the line over West Preston. And last year, I reckon they might have been the ones that got away from him. So it shows how close it is.
You just got to win them in the end, right? It doesn't, at the end of the day, the 4 points, bank those. Sometimes you're not playing at your best, but you can still get the 4 points.
100%.
And then crucial rather than dropping them.
They're a good side, Eltham, and I don't actually think anyone's underestimating Eltham this year. I honestly believe from that game, people will be going, ugh.
Well, especially as you said at Eltham. I don't think too many teams will come to Eltham and say, we'll just pencil this in.
So they won the disposals by 14. They won the kicks. They won the handballs. They won the contested possessions, which is what Bongo's all about. They smashed the ground ball gets. They were plus 28. Right? So that's a huge number. That's where they won the game.
Maybe the kicking efficiency.
Maybe they can
little
improve
improvement
upon
there.
that.
If you're going to pick at something, they'll get to work on that.
Overall, huge win for them. As for player stats, the highest player stats. Not that I love just focusing on player stats, but Curtis Brown, as we just said, again, 40 touches, 137 ranking points. Jason McCormack, Kai Turner, and Colm all in the
Kai
mid-20s.
Turner.
Yeah. He's a good kid.
Oh, is he ever?
He's a young man, but
we got to look at him in our first year when he was at Mernda.
Yes.
And I thought to myself, wow, this kid can play. again, not kid, but compared to you and I, he is.
Everyone's a kid compared to us.
But yeah, so really good to see him go on, play at the highest level, and not just be getting a game, but really being a solid contributor for them. So well done, Kite. Good stuff.
This next one, Hurstbridge, 11-10-76, Bundoora 9-9-63. These are two sides that, they are hard at it. Hurstbridge, for me, probably good enough to take that second spot, behind their
second or third.
Yep, second or third. I think that's about where they sit, Hurstbridge. But I did say to Baz the other day, you need to beat Bundoora to be considered that side.
Yep.
It's exactly what they did. They came out. Now, 11, 12, 13 points it was. No disrespect for Bundoora. Playing at Hurstbridge, they have an edge on that small ground. They know how to play it. So in the return match, that might not be the same way.
On the larger ground
the large round. But, Hurstbridge, good on them. They get the win. They consolidate, which was a nervous start to their season. And now they sit second on the ladder, which is where they should be.
Yeah, well, Baz mentioned the other week on your show when we were talking about a few things, and he said it's a marathon, not a sprint.
He's spot on.
And he's spot on. You've got to bank these games against a team that they're expecting to be a challenger this year.
Yep.
In terms of finals. They've banked it at home, 4 points, and they're starting to build as well.
And
so
their test is going to come when they meet Heidelberg, like everybody's test. That'll give you a true point of where you are. What I did understand from the game, and I watched the replay back last night, is Bundoora are quick.
Yeah.
Right. They're lightning. So you're not going to get away. They had a bad kicking efficiency day, 58-66.
Under pressure on the smaller ground, maybe.
I reckon.
It got closed in on them a little bit more, maybe.
But have a look at this general play. Bundoora won most of the general play pluses. So they won hit-outs. They won hit-outs to advantage. They won clearances, centered clearances, ball up clearances, throw up clearances, rebound 50s.
Which would you expect that against Hurstbridge at Hurstbridge? No. They're hard in that middle there. So if they've won the clearances against a team like Hurstbridge.
On top of that, they won disposals for the day, and they won handballs, and they won contested possessions. So, a lot 13 points is nothing.
Just didn't get the 4 points on the day.
The kicking efficiency was 10% different.
Yep.
And that's about where it is on the score, 10%,
yep.
isn't it? So I think that when they dig into that, they'll have a look at there. But overall, they'll be pretty happy with all their players and their stats. Blake Fitzgerald, 31 possessions, 117 ranking points. O'Neill Moncrief, what a recruit he is. Take him out of that side. I'm just not sure it's the same side. He's gone really, really hard. Harry O'Brien in the 20s and Lachlan East in the 20s. So
as you'd expect, Crean coming to the top and making sure they get the 4 points.
So good on them. That's a huge win for them. Moving on to the last one. We're not going to spend too much time on this. Heidelberg 24-19, 163. Account for West Preston 5-6-36. The reason I say that I'm not going to spend too much time on this isn't disrespectful to West Preston. It's a 127-point loss. That's a little bit, that's about where I thought it would be. Some people said 15, 16 goals. You're playing them when you're rebuilding. That's bloody tough.
Yeah, it is. And especially, they've lost Harmo out of the ruck, who's just a sensational player for them, their leader.
That hurts.
Another, Dreyer through suspension, that sort of thing.
They're on a tough run.
And when you're, in the position they're in, when you lose some real quality like those two guys and you come up against the team, then that result is sort of probably what everyone expected.
The truth is they're better than I thought they were, Heidelberg. Watching them against Greensborough and watching them realistically just hover around, fourth or fifth gear, and then,
they drop the pedal, don't they?
I don't have Prem data info on that side, so I can't really I can't talk about that.
I'd love to see the efficiency with Heidelberg, because you watch them and their use of the ball by hand and foot is extraordinary.
So I had a guy, an ex-coach, tell me that he was going to tell me how to beat Heidelberg. And he goes, he came to the Greensborough Heidelberg game.
Watched it?
Yep, watched it. And after the game, he said, disregard that. He said, mate, I don't think they're beatable.
What did Mike Tyson say? Everyone's got a plan until they get smacked in the face.
And he's not a Greensborough coach, this guy either. So he just came to it, but he was like, just disregard that. Where I thought you could break them down, Greensborough seemed to have that game plan, and it wasn't
Yeah.
They still just after half time
Yeah.
put
So-
on the afterburners.
Great skills.
Yeah,
Really well coached.
Yeah.
Great setup.
absolutely.
It's just what you've come to expect out of the
nothing you
Heidelberg
can do about that one.
Netball Club.
All
Yeah.
right, so we'll move on to the next one. So let's go Division 2. We'll power through here as well. Northcote Park continued on their winning ways, and rightly so. 12-14, 86 against Lower Plenty, 6-5, 41. I'd said it on the footy show during the week that I thought Lower Plenty have been doing absolutely everything right, and there was going to be a test this week to see where they're really at, and that's a test. No disrespect to Lower Plenty either.
No.
I think Northcote Park's the real deal this side and will contend for the big game. So,
Yeah, they've had 26 shots.
yeah, that's when they're on, and they're hard to bloody beat at home. And
Yep.
you know, for Northcote Park again, I bet you all the normals are in there. I haven't really paid too much attention. Ty O'Brien's their big recruit. He's
Yep.
fantastic. Stevens, Mark on,
Mark on.
Pushton, McCurdy, and Vannon. I'm shocked that there's not an Ahmad in that one there, which is fantastic because that shows that their depth is a fair bit there. Leo Ahmed kicked 3 goals in saying that. Mark on 2, Road 2, Michael Ahmed 1. So, you know, no Perry's in the best, no Ahmed's in the best. When was the last time that happened?
And still get a really good win.
Still get a solid win. And
Yep.
for Lower Plenty, you got Leslie, Hill, Smith, Littlefield, Chubb, who's been in the
Again,
best
yep.
every week, and Brownhill. So, and for their goal kickers, Chubb with 3 again. So,
Yep.
I mean, they'll take a little bit out of that as well. But, gee, they're the real deal, Northcote Park. I called it earlier in the year. It might be the only tip I got right all year. I said they are the real deal this year with the recruits they've got and the youth policy they've gone with as well. Joey Ahmad's no deal. He
No.
knows what he's building.
No,
you know,
yeah, absolutely.
and they've got a great coach down there. They've got a really good belief down there. Move to the next one. Fitzroy Stars went 10-15, 75 in a super tight game and got over McLeod 11-4, 70. Now 25 scoring shots to 19 says they should have got the job done a bit earlier. If you ask KB, it was, you know, it's umpires every week. It's the umpires, so yeah, you sort of take that with a grain of
Oh,
salt.
I think it's goal kicking for Stars at the moment. If you have a
Absolutely,
look
I
at their
agree with
first few games,
Yep.
It's been goal kicking that's cost them.
Yep.
In the close losses they've had.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, even in this 11-4 to what's that, 10-15, it looks like they could have, you know, sort of put this away a lot earlier. They got out to a lead. McLeod came back, headed them, and then Stars came again and kicked too late and got the game.
Problem McLeod's got is they haven't won away this year once. So
Interesting.
that's they're pretty good at home, and they did manage, I think, from memory, Barden kicked, and I'll just double check it. Barden kicked 5, I thought. KB does say Barden needs to kick 6 from the win. He kicked 5. Had to kick 6, maybe they win, but I don't know. It seems that have a look at the quality of this side, though, right? With Fitzroy Stars, Burns, Williamson, I understand, has been reported.
Has he?
So he got red carded off, I understand.
Okay.
Just don't take that to the bank, but that's my mail. You got Proctor, Farron, right? And then you got Clark, Keegan, O'Neill, Proctor again. Jordan Proctor's coming on beautiful. Ronan's amazing. Penrith, Jaffa Williams. You've got a side. You got Neville Jetta in that side. It might have been Matty Williamson that got reported. Anyway,
Right. Okay.
one of them got done.
He's kicked 3.
Kick 3.
The big fella.
Moona Brown as well. Like,
So
Taylor, this is a star-studded outfit.
Oh, mate, we saw it last year. You know, we played them in a preliminary final and they belted us by 10 goals and could have beaten us by more in the end. What's been interesting with me over the last couple of weeks, having a look at that, Paddy Farron is named best, hasn't kicked a goal.
Yeah.
Right.
So doing other stuff. Mm-hmm.
So is the recruitment of Matty Williamson to come in and be that big forward? You've got Elijah who's there as well, then the small forwards around them, and it frees Paddy up to play in some other roles. So it is I don't know, but is Paddy playing around the ground? Is he playing at centre half back? Because he's an incredible athlete.
He's a freak of a football. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, so interesting. You know, you sort of get one in who can play that big forward. It's not just on him to do that. You can free him up to play other roles.
Yeah, so it is Matt Williamson we were referring to that has been booked. So, you know, for they'll go away from this McLeod. And look, they've got a lot of youth coming through as well. I don't think they're going to lose too much sleep over this, but got to win a couple away from home. Fitzroy Stars aren't the easy beat, new up and coming side that everyone thought they might have been. We all thought they would be. I think I picked them 6th, 7th. They're better than that. They're going to play finals.
Yeah, it looks like it. It does in a really tight competition. So still a little bit to
best comp this year. Undecided.
Who wins every week?
Well, because we're going to get to them in a minute because the favourite I'd said we'll go to them now while we're talking about it, but I said that Whittlesea would win the flag, but they've just got home over 8 points over
Panton Hill.
Now, Panton Hill at home are also another thing. And I think Panton Hill will be stiff if they get relegated because they've been competitive, you know, and it's a bit early to speak relegation, but, you know, Thomastown's been competitive and they're going to be down there. So whoever gets relegated this year, it's going to be in a real tough 1 or 2 wins might get you over the line.
Yeah.
In
this year's competition,
it's that type. But so Whittlesea got the job done 9-15, 69, Panton Hill 8-13. 61. So either of those sides kick straight, and we're talking about a very different game of football. I'm going to just make the assumption that Gary Ramsay will happily take the win and the 4 points, and they'll restructure themselves from there. But there were times during that game where Panton Hill were leading. So
again, this comes in with, you know, how teams play their home ground, right? We know Panton Hill are really, really tough to play up on the mountain. And then you think about the size of the ground at Whittlesea.
100%.
So you've got a different type of game that just automatically plays out because of the size of the ground. It goes into a more contested form. You're forward earlier than you normally would be, not getting caught out on the wings.
They're tough to play up there, and they'll snag 1 or 2 this season.
Oh, no doubt.
I'm certain of it, and they might be the side that holds on. For Panton Hill, Seasland, Parks, Frawley, Fordry, Farquhar, Parks, and Livingston all in their best. And for Whittlesea, you got how do you pronounce that? Khalad Al-Lizi, I think it is.
I haven't got my glasses on that.
Yeah, that's right. Harry Framano, Tennant's always in their best. Anderson, Thomas Falls again, Isaac Daniels. If they're going to win the flag, they're going to have to win by a bit more powerfully away from home. It's a long season. I get that, but, you know, that's a pretty good game.
So where do you have them at the moment, the way it's sort of rolling out?
I had Whittlesea favourite. I'd probably change it and I'd put South Morang as my favourite if I was changing it today. After round 8, what we've sort of agreed internally with the footy show we'll do is we'll reassess, and we'll do it on our show as well.
Yeah, sure.
But South Morang's been the stronger of the two as we move to their game now. Anyway, but South Morang 11-14-80 got the job done over Thomastown 8-7-55, so 25-point winners there. And this is what I'm talking about. South Morang have done that away from their home ground. Very, very strong at the moment. They haven't got their best side in because they've still got a couple of injuries and so forth as well. Cumberland was in their best, which is starting to give them some reward for effort. You know, you got to remember they lost a lot of players this year. The Kalpakises are gone. The Halls brothers are gone. So that's a lot of them. JD isn't playing there when available this year. So, you know.
It's going to take a little bit of time just to recalibrate that list and what you've got and then the way that you start to play. So I would expect them to continue to improve as the season goes on.
I think they're going to get better, a lot better as well. So then we go, their best players, Ben Power. I mean, he had a year off last year, so he's back. DePropotis going very well. Mardini, they held on to him. There was talk he was going to go to an EDFL side, but they retained him, which is great.
Van Sweenan.
Yeah, Van Sweenan, always there. Cumberland, love seeing that in the best, getting some return on investment, and Nick Lawson as well. So that's great. And for Thomastown, same guys, D'Angelo, Nikolov, Kalane, Samey's new one in there, I think. Samey and Lawrence, LaPiccolo, and Jordan Nugent. So, look, they're doing all the right things, Thomastown. They're just not getting – they're a bit like Panton Hill. They're just not getting over the line. And I think as these two sides look certain to fight it out for the bottom two, it wouldn't mean that finals is off the radar is the truth. I know that sounds silly, but Thomastown have won 1. They're on 4 points, but they're only 2 games out of the
Yeah.
out of the 5.
Just out. Yeah.
So, it's not insane to think either of these sides couldn't get their skates on and go. And McLeod sitting outside of the 5. Whittlesea just sitting just in. And then you got the Stars in, Old Paradians in, South Morang and Northcote Park, just absolutely firing. But I wouldn't have them above South Morang yet.
Yeah. And this is where we say, you get to round 7 or 8.
Yep.
Where's everyone at? We've had a good look at a few teams and see what that looks like.
So the shock for me this week, I guess, in this division was Old Paradians. So 9-15, very inaccurate kicking, but 9-15, 69, got the job done over St. Mary's, who are heavily injury-ridden, 6-8, 44. But St. Mary's probably don't have tons of time left to cement themselves because with injuries, if they cop more and don't get these guys back,
and in such a tight competition,
that's a real problem for me for where they will sit. So they're in for a tough year, and I don't think they've just been smashed with the injury stick. But they sit 7th.
Are they long-term injuries?
I think there's an ACL in there.
Yeah, so Maxi Dreyer did his ACL in the preseason, which was a big loss for that. Massive. Max is a superstar.
Yeah,
right?
I worry for them. If they can get a couple of wins and turn it around, they're back in it.
Yeah.
So it's that close of a division. So for those guys, I really Old Paradian, fantastic job. They've come up
second year up,
and they're there. They're in the final
that
five
a
already.
strong off season. How's that going to come together? BT would be bringing that list together, finding out how all this new group, where's the best place to play them, and all the rest of it. So
it's going to be an interesting one.
I think Vino and the boys at the Garvey at this stage
will be happy.
Without getting ahead of themselves, I think they'll be pretty.
They're not those sort of people.
Not at all. It'll be what's happening this week and where do we go.
So Old Paradian's best, McDonald, Kane, Valeri.
Now he can play.
Which one?
McDonald.
Yeah, superstar. Yeah, superstar. And this is what they've done. That they've recruited the right
Mitch
players.
Jesse Kane came over from Heidelberg, right, for an opportunity there, right? They picked up McDonald in the off season as well. So they're building their list.
Yep.
They had a look at it last year. Okay, we started off a bit slow. We were competitive the second half of the year. Where do we need to sort of money ball it a little bit? Where are our gaps?
That's smart.
They've gone out, they've had a look, and then they've built a team that's really competitive up in that division.
It's a win. And then for St. Mary's, Corelli always there, superstar. Little Zhang Hanlon, Cotter. I like saying Tane Cotter in there a bit more often like this. And he's a star. And Apostola. So, as we've touched on it, it is what it is. They need to get their skates on, but they're St. Mary's, but they're still thereabouts. Doesn't look like they led until 3/4 time, and then they were 1 point up, but then they only scored 3 points, and Old Paradians poured on 4 more goals in the last. So, that's all right. We live, we learn. Let's get to the Ivanhoe division. The MC.
The Lorimer division.
The
I think
Lorimer
you've
division.
got
Might be because we'll get to that. I understand they've got an injury with one of their players has gone down at the moment in Caden Arthur.
Yeah.
Hopefully he gets well soon. I think it's a foot. Don't hold me to that. But that's tough, but they still came out and went 17-13, 115 over Heidelberg West, gallantly 7-6, 48, but still 67 points. I'm going to just make the assumption they were pretty confident they were going to win this game, and they mightn't have pushed themselves to the edge. I did watch the game back in 3-speed last night. There was a lot of errors in that Lorimer victory, which Jimmy will be like, that's okay. We've learned from those. They might have tried a few different things here as well. And Heidelberg West, good on them. They're giving their all. They didn't score 6 points. They scored 48 points.
They had a few out to Heidelberg West this week.
Well, and had a very good new recruit. Did you know about their new recruit?
Tell me about it.
All right. So their new recruits, ex-Talent League boys came in and kicked 4. His name is Waylon Davey. Yep. So from that Davey family, young Aboriginal boy.
Yep.
Apparently very, very good. Kicked 4 goals on debut. And
against Lorimer.
And I'm being told would probably be one of the best players in Division 3. Wow. So he's a great pickup for West Heidelberg.
Yep.
Coates League kid was up for being drafted, didn't get drafted. So he's a talent. If he's close to getting drafted, he's a massive up for them. I'm not sure if they've got him all year or just for a handful of games. I don't know enough about it. I'll ask Michael Misson on text next couple of days. But just maybe lack of goal kickers here outside of Davies for West Heidelberg. Need a few more goal kickers there.
Yeah, well, did Barnes play?
Yeah, he did play.
He did play,
I think actually, let me have a look. No, I can't see him there.
And I can't see Condello there either. So
maybe he didn't play.
Yeah, so they might have been laid outs. There, but taking nothing away from Lorimer, as you said, it took a little while to shake him off. But then after half time, Lorimer put the foot down. You have a look. Paddy Fitz has just, slotted another lazy 8.
Just another day at the office.
Yeah, as you do. Daughter. Trim, who's been kicking some goals in the last couple of weeks, so kicks another 4. Jesse Donaldson in the best again. I don't think he's been out of the best.
What a level of experience to have in that side.
Well, when you think he's not only bringing his quality, which you naturally get on-field coach.
You've got a Schultze on-field coach straight away. Yeah. And this is why, in all seriousness, and I've given you grief over the last 2 weeks,
You've given me grief.
Now, apparently. No. I'll be fair dinkum that I actually do believe they can challenge you guys. I think it's probably a 2.5 horse race. I think Mernda on their day have an amazing side. I think once you start getting past Mernda, there's a little bit of a drop-off without anyone sending in hate mail. But I do think you can be beaten. Having a look at those sides, Lorimer have been together since they're 10 years old. If that clicks, and it could be belting down rain on grand final day. It could be a sunny day and your tools are out and their tools are in, and all of it. You've got to stop Deuter on your day, Josh Leather on your day.
Well, as I said, I was hopeful Deuter would take off over to Europe and not come back for the rest of the year. So, Deuter, I'll put that up to business class tickets if you like.
I don't think he's going. You might
he's
get
a
him.
Star.
He's a superstar. Played his 300th, close to the 1,000 goal. Probably had his 1,000th goal after that on the weekend. So then we'll move forward, mate. We'll head over to Epping versus your boys. You'll be best pressed to wrap this game up for us.
Yeah, so look, we started really well. We went into the game. We knew that Epping had been playing some really good football. So went out to Epping expecting a really good contest and knew that we had to just put a little seed of doubt into a younger team's mind as quickly as we possibly could. And the boys started really well. They've kicked 6 goals in 16 minutes. And then, Epping fought back a little bit, kicked a few themselves. But, we had a little lead there at quarter time. We'd kicked 7 in the first. So then it was a bit of an arm wrestle, to be honest, up until about halfway through the third. Just in general play, there was a lot of great pressure coming from
I haven't watched this game yet.
Yeah, no.
Is that what I'd be looking at? Because having a look at the scoreboard here, I mean, they kicked 3 in the first with you, Epping. You kicked 7. Then they didn't score a goal in the second quarter, 2 in the third. That's it. So, I mean, really, they had 2 goal-scoring quarters. Was the comeback more based around pressure? Because you guys kicked 7 to another 6 and another 5.
Yeah, as I said, that sort of the second quarter, halfway through the third, it was the game wasn't in the balance. We were probably still winning the general play, in my view. But there was a lot of pressure coming. No doubt, it's a Brad Hollow coach team. They're going to bring the heat and all the rest of it. So, and they really did that. But then we had another burst again, probably for 15 minutes in the third quarter.
Sides do. They just go into fifth gear and one more.
And we kicked another 6 in another 15 minutes. And then that sort of really set us up. It was 15-15 to 5-5 at 3-quarter time. And then you go into the last quarter and so forth. And they probably tended to drop away a little bit. Schultze was really strong with the team at 3-quarter time, that we wanted to keep working to what the things we'd been working on. Schultze didn't play. No, Schultze was not able to play on the weekend. I won't give too much more than that. But you play with what you've got. You know, Paul Harris, a good friend of mine, as you know, Harry says to me every week, I said, how are you going? How many in, how many out? And he says, best 22.
Yep.
And he just talks about that's the best 22 you got in the week. So
you can only play with what you've got.
Absolutely.
And it's good to give other guys opportunity when he's out.
Yeah.
Schultze's not going to be playing forever. So now's your time to get into this side.
And we had 3 or 4 guys come in, and we knew they were going to bring some new energy.
Yep.
You know, they want to try and hold a spot, make a mark,
absolutely.
that sort of thing. So, no, all in all, we're really happy to get the win and and how it went. But as I said, it probably wasn't represented on the scoreboard how the flow of the game went.
The best, so for Epping, Middleton,
very good.
It was very good.
Yeah.
McCaffer, Rose, Costa, and Jacobson in their best. And for you guys, Lowton must have been special, best on ground. I mean, he's special. I watched a Lowton bad game, and I still thought he was amazing.
Yeah, Riley was fantastic in the middle.
He's pretty special, isn't he? Yep. Howe, Moran, Value, O'Brien, and I noticed that is Moran. Oh, you did have Moran in there. Kick 5.
Yep.
So definitely Blackmore more. Not in your best, and kicks 3. Gee, it's a hard side to get in the best, isn't it? But I mean,
team effort.
You've got depth, but now that's every game you've won by 100 points. That one right on the number of 100 points, and that's all right. That's what it's all about. And I mean, you guys are going to keep on keeping on. The truth is, you're the hunted now, and there's bloody hard being the hunted, because sooner or later there's just going to be a little trip. And in some respects, you're happy to have the trip mid-season, get the reality check and get on, but you just got to keep winning.
Oh, it's just, like I know people will probably take the P155 out of this, but we'll look towards the Turtles this week, playing the Turtles at home, focus on that.
Things have happened. They're all right this year, the Turtles
absolutely.
They're all right.
Yeah, so it's like, what do we do next? We'll look at the tape. Where can we improve?
Yep.
What are the things that we're working on?
Yes.
And the rest will take care of itself. So it's very process-driven, which all sounds a bit boring.
No,
but that's
true.
exactly what we're doing.
I haven't watched your game. I will watch it, because we're actually going to do a few things on it. Because we can only call one game a week.
Yep.
And Benny Keane was sensational on the weekend. He was really, really good on the commentary. He's going to come into the studio one night, and we're actually going to call a couple of plays from a couple of different games and put the little snippets up. Fantastic. Just so we can try and get across and do that a bit more. Let's move on to Old Eltham. Took on Kilmore. Kilmore got the chocolates, which I knew this one would be a tight one. I thought Old Eltham may be at home, but Kilmore 13-8-86 got their season moving, with Old Eltham going down 8-12-60. Now, again, if they had flipped that the other way and it was 12-8, all of a sudden you got a very serious game on your hands. But no disrespect to either of these sides, but, they're going to have to really get cracking, because I think where they sit on the ladder now, Kilmore will obviously still be out of the 5. They'll be probably 7th.
Yeah, Kilmore have already had the bye as well.
Yes,
so they've played one less game.
So they sit 7th, and Old Eltham still sit above them. Old Eltham had won that game, they would have been in the 5 on the way again. So they're another side that's just not an easy beat side.
Yeah, and again, getting used to a new coach, new game style. They've brought a lot of youth. They've brought a lot of youth to that team to rebuild.
Yes,
and absolutely. They've started the season quite well.
They're pretty handy, and I think for both of these sides, they were both really probably searching for that next step up, and it looks like it was a hard fought-out game. I haven't watched it, but for Old Eltham, Hallett, Pilati,
Bailey
Dillon, Thompson, Milne, and Hawkins, all in their best, and for Kilmore, Paxton, Barton, always there, Barton, Chesser, Newport, Doyle, and Robertson, Josh Robertson, very, very tall young man too, and going to be a very good, footballer.
Well,
I think
they've got over the line there, and Crosby hasn't kicked any goals, so I'm not sure if Cros played forward or they threw him up into the middle this week.
Personally, I think he belongs in the middle. That's my own personal opinion in that division. He's strong enough to win those centre breaks for you to make sure that you're
absolutely. But I think with the change in the off-season, losing a couple of the forwards that they did, they probably
needed that
thought
presence, didn't they?
they needed to put Cros up there. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't looked at the tape yet either, but I will be, because obviously we've got the Turtles this week, and have a bit of a look at that. But yeah.
Very happy to see Crapper back. He had a week off the week before, so he's back. He's kicked 2, which is great, after 4 ACLs.
4.
So he's had 3, and he didn't have the 4th ACL operation. He's just playing on it. He's not going to go through another op, and he's playing great footy. He played for West Preston. He's a Div 1 player. I'm just glad that he's back playing footy for him. Milne kicked 3, Crapper kicked 2 for Kilmore, for Old Eltham, and for
Newport kicked 3 as well.
Yeah,
good
3
player
for him. Clark and Chesler all with 3 to their name, and a few singles in there as well. But for both of those sides, I'll take a fair few positives out of that, and big weeks ahead. We'll get to that in a second. Mernda got the chocolates pretty comfortably, 80 points over Kinglake. Again, I'm not going to spend tons of time on this, but for Mernda, I think they had, was it 42 scoring shots?
18-24.
Yeah, 18-24, 132. Now, I spoke to someone who was at the game and said we should have won by another 100 points.
Right. Okay, so they dominated the game.
Dominated it. It was foregone conclusion, and Kinglake 8-4-52. Mate, Kinglake, Laylaw, I don't know how that one's going to go. We'll have a look at the fixture. I don't know when that is, but Laylaw is playing, all right footy as well. Gee, if you're going to get off the bottom, this might be the year, Laylaw, for that one, because, Kinglake's just got a lot of soul searching. I had him in my 5 pre-season. I had him 5th.
Yeah, I don't think I had them in, just based on the amount of talent that they lost in the off-season.
And they're going to move grounds. I think they've
on top of that.
Yeah, it's tough.
But again, they're looking at that. They've got their 19s. I've mentioned this before. They've got their 19s for the first time this year. So they're going to build that. And, Rome wasn't built in a day. Sometimes you've got to go backwards a step or 2 before you can come forward. So
I haven't been to your house, but I've heard it's pretty colossal.
What's that?
Your house. Colossal marble everywhere. I was told.
A 1960s weatherboard in Kilmore, mate.
So, good on those guys. We'll quickly open up and go through their best. Sorry, just as I clicked there, I got
But with Mernda, and I keep saying this, no surprise for me, Mernda are very good.
Yeah, I think they're the other side, as I said.
Absolutely.
They're the half side. It's not being disrespectful. They got a lot of kids in that side as well. They've got some good experience. Little Declan Fell, he's coming on, being quite the good player. I love seeing Brent Marshall best on ground. I love Nipper. He's a really good guy. He was really good to my young bloke at Bundura. He's really good with the kids. They buy into the Nipper Marshall thing. A good family, good people. So best on ground for him. Kyle Yankos, second best on ground, and that's great. This is his experience here, where he has to give back and do those things as a defender, and he's done that. Declan Fell, always in the best. Tommy Fell was a very, very good footballer. Very, very good footballer. So James Secker as well.
One of the recruits.
Great recruit. Billy Morrison in the best. He'd been a bit quiet, I would have thought, but he's come good. And Jesse Golfo, who's a very out there fellow. I like Jesse. He's out there, mate. He's left of centre.
Mernda at Mernda, I think Mernda at Mernda, for me, is as tough a game as playing Lorimer at Lorimer.
I agree with you. They're tough, and their facilities are sensational.
Yeah.
Sensational.
God, we bloody hate going there, and they just beat us every time.
Get down there, buy a beer. Their scoreboard's blown up, and there's I don't think there's too much funding coming from external, councils and leagues and stuff. So they need a new scoreboard. Not going to be cheap. So if you're looking to sponsor a club, get behind them and help them get their scoreboard.
No disrespect, Tommy, but I probably won't be that person.
Oh. He might have that spare in his salary cap. For them, Kelly, Clark, Johnson, Morrison, Nelson, and Lucas, all for Kinglake, in their best. And you've just got to keep punching when that's happening. You've just got to keep going and get back, and they will. They're a good unit. And the last game is Laylaw went down 5-6-36 against a cloakless Watsonia, who was showing that they might play finals pretty solidly as well. 99-point winners.
40 shots.
19, 21, 135, 99-point winners. Not good enough, Watsonia. Should have been 100 points. Pull your finger out your butt. I'm only joking.
Leave my old mob alone.
Look, you know, Watsonia is a side I didn't have in my 5.
No one did.
Nah, they're a side I'm definitely putting in my 5 when I redo my ladder. They definitely deserve to be there. Best players for Laylaw, Patton, can't pronounce that, but I'll go Tribizuo, and I apologise if that's not right. We're just going to call you Tribby for the rest of the year. Hayden Hunt, Alex Deo, Sam Rex Happy, who's got to be the same vintage as Wayne Schultz, I reckon. But mate, he's still a man.
That's harsh on Sam.
I wouldn't say to his face, he'd kick the crap out of me too. He's absolutely a ripping guy. I've tried for 3 years to get him on the show.
Have you?
I don't do TV, does.
Really?
So
we'll turn the cameras off.
And Anna Tazy is the other one in the best for them. I love what they're doing. They just don't give up. They've got good people down there. You've got one of the all-time great footballers in Lance Whitnell coaching you, and you just can't ask for more than that. The good news is here for Watsonia, and I keep asking, and someone's going to give me the answer. He's Seb Tarkson, Darren Tarkson's son. Darren Tarkson was on Carlton's list for a while, under 19s player. Very, very good football. I think he played at Bundoora as well. Pretty sure he did. Marco Gretchen, the best again, Bailey White, Luke Lowry, Nathan Halliburton, and William Rush. I love what Watsonia are doing because they're saying, Daz, you don't know what you're talking about. We're actually all right, we believe. And they've still got Clokey to come back into this side.
Absolutely. Well, you imagine if Clokey was sitting in the square on the weekend with that many forward entries. It could, but well done to Watsonia because, you know, and we've said this a few times now. Right. Everyone wrote them off. They're going to come down. They're not going to be relevant. Yeah. Everybody did. You know, well, guess what? They're relevant. And I've got them right in the mix.
All right, let's power through this last minute. We're going to go reverse. We're going to have a quick look at round 6. Epping take on Kilmore. I reckon that's going to be a killadilla at Epping. Kilmore will want to bounce back. Watsonia, King Lake lock in that win there for
Is Clokey back for that one?
I'm not sure.
Or one more week away?
It might be one more. I'll check before the Wednesday show. I'll text him.
Clokey, if you're watching, you can stay overseas for a few more rounds too, mate.
Mernda will account for Laylaw. Don't worry about that. Reservoir take on Lorimer at Reservoir. If Reservoir will play finals. I still think they're good enough to play finals. They've had the bye. But this will be the one I'm pretty confident that Steve Kristesky will want to test the boys against. I reckon they're a better side than they were a couple of weeks ago. Got the experience. Young Taddy's killing it down there. I think they're going to be all right.
Is this the game that Nick rolls out?
Koch?
Koch has got a hammy. Dusty or
don't know. Is he?
From that?
Surely not.
No, I don't know.
Facetious?
No, not me. No.
And speaking about the Dustin Martin side, Ivanhoe take on Old Eltham Collegians. Look, you're at home. I think you'll get the job done quite well there. Heidelberg West have the bye, but I think you had the job done quite well there. But I think there's a lot to learn for Old Eltham out of that day. And as I said to Kath when we were speaking on the show the other night, I think you've got to embrace that you're playing Ivanhoe, Lorimer or Mernda at the moment and say, let's measure where we're really at so we know what we need to do to build upon.
And just on that, you could see that on the weekend. Like the teaching that Kath is giving to the younger guys are unbelievable.
How many kicks did he have from fullback?
I don't know. But he had plenty around the midfield, but he also went back to help a younger defence and set them up and quarterback a little bit. Then he went back into the middle. You know, it was fantastic for them.
What Kath will – I love Kath, and he's so good. We're so lucky to have him on our show each week on a Wednesday night. I think where Kath's going to be better than he was a footballer is a coach. And he's a very good footballer.
Oh, superstar.
I just think he could go anywhere. I want him to go as high as he can in coaching. He loves footy. Like KB loves footy. He loves footy. We say we're footy nuffers. He's another level above. He just loves it. And he wants to teach. He's an educator. That's what I love about it.
From the sidelines, that word, education, from the sideline, you could just hear him talking about where he needed people to go. back this way, cut off that angle. You know, this is how they're playing.
Legend.
Yeah, it was
Absolute
great
legend.
to watch, actually.
I'm a big fan of this.
Yep,
South Morang, Fitzroy Stars,
Oh.
Dilla. Got to be match of the round. If anything else
Have
don't
to
make
be.
that match of the round, I'll be shocked. That is going to be a ripper. Yeah, I have no commentary. I don't know how this one's going to go, but
No,
we're
nor do I.
going to see how good Fitzroy Stars are Saturday, and I'll be following this game closely when I'm commentating the Montmorency game. Then you've got Whittlesea take on Lower. That's in the balance.
Yeah, that's
Totally
not a walk
in the
in the
balance.
park.
We say this endlessly about Division 2, but yeah,
it's the one that Whittlesea must
Have to
win
win.
if they're to be spoken about with those
As a
sort of
main
four top teams.
totally agree.
Yep.
Old Paradians at
Oh.
home against Northcote Park again. I don't know. Look, you'd back Northcote Park, but a goal might split this.
Yeah, it could.
You know,
It could.
and they're a 4-goal better side at home, Old Paradians.
Yep.
So
At the Garvey.
now they're home McLeod against Panton Hill. You'd put them down for a win. If it
Mhm.
had been at Panton Hill, don't know. But I'd say McLeod get the Chocolatier and St Mary's take on Thomastown. And I've got a feeling this is the one Thomastown
Pinch.
I just got a feeling St Mary's
Just-
are pretty injured.
Yeah, okay.
So
And Tomo are tough.
Tomo,
Yeah,
They're just-
we watched them pre-season.
yep,
You know, their contested footy is
sensational.
extraordinary. Yep.
Scotty Hayes, you reckon that I don't tip you often enough? I've just given you the early mail that I reckon you get this one
Harrow
done.
will be telling me to shut up.
Yeah, Harrow. I reckon you get this one. So what an advantage it is having Harrow on your side. That
Yep.
guy's another football tragic. Who
Yep.
he gets it. He thinks it.
Yep.
He's the loveliest guy. He'll get the message.
He's not really.
Yeah, he is.
Nah,
No,
he's
he's
not.
an absolute ripper, and he's another educator.
Yeah, he is.
You know,
Yeah.
he's a storyteller. Every time I
Yeah.
speak to him, he's got
Well,
a beautiful
he coached
story.
us many years
Yep.
ago, and when he played for us,
Yep.
he won 4 best and fairest, won
Yep.
a comp medal, and all the rest of it. And then he went on to coaching, and he coached us into a grand final in
Yep.
2015. And
So
I've seen it
he gets
firsthand.
You know how good he is, far
Yep.
better than me. But everyone that tells
Yep.
me about him says he's a real teacher, storyteller of the game.
Yeah.
He makes you understand it, so when you go out there, you get it.
And
that's
H,
important.
because I've given you a pump up, I expect a nice bottle of Merlot to end up at
Mm.
my place soon, mate.
Hope why not? I had a beautiful Brainies yesterday when
Did
I popped down to the Ivanhoe game to watch.
Yes,
your
you
girls'
did.
game.
You're on the mids.
Yes,
there,
I
the
did. I
mid-
love
yeah.
that Queensland mid.
Yeah.
It's a ripper. So Brainies, great
They're my
sponsor of the
favourite.
show. They're winners. West Preston take on Diamond Creek at West Preston. Now, again, West Preston haven't won a game, but Jesus, West Preston at home are a 4-5 goal better side, especially if you get that Edward Park Lake breeze that comes from nowhere. You'd say Diamond Creek would go in favourite, but at West Preston, they're going to win one and pinch one. Diamond Creek have dropped a couple now.
It's not this one.
It's not this one.
No, I think
Creek easy?
Diamond not easy. No,
Mhm.
I'm not going to say easy, but I think Diamond Creek get this done.
I'm going to go the upset. I'm
All
going to
right.
go West Preston
All
at
right.
home.
Yep.
I think it's the week of the thief. I'm going to say that
All right.
a lot
I
of
like it.
stealing of games this weekend. Montmorency
I've got a
take
tune in
on
my head, man.
Greensborough. Don't listen to this, Greensborough. I think Montmorency are just too good right now.
They've found their form.
They've found it. They've
Mm-hmm.
got the equation is now worked out. They understand who fits where. Holmes has got a couple of games under his belt. Lentini's back to career best form.
Yep.
And you've got depth coming out of your butt with the Usilax and everything as
Yep.
well. I think, they're probably
So what sort of result, right? And I know coaches will say, and committees and all the rest of it, we just want the 4 points and we'll move on. What sort of result does Montmorency have to put up in this game for you to say, all right, later on in the year, I consider them a real opportunity?
40 points.
Yep. Okay.
And I would say statistically, after watching the Mont game on the weekend and being at the Greensborough game, I think they're a 40-point better side.
Yep. Playing
um,
at their best.
Playing at their best. And at home, they use that coach's box side so well.
Yep.
It's such a. I'd love to know what the percentage of the arc is at Montmorency. It's a big fall away.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's a huge home ground advantage. Now, if they manage to get a couple of players back Greensborough,
Yeah.
that changes. But I don't
Yeah.
think they get. Well, I'm pretty sure they don't get either Mitchell this week.
Right.
And I don't think that they've got back Zach McCubbin yet either.
Right.
And
so just a couple of really important players down when you're taking on one of what we expect to be one of the very top teams.
Well, see, Greensboro are educating a lot of kids. They got a few new players in there as well this year. And when they move the ball, switch and go, they're dangerous as anyone. I'm just concerned about how many goals they're going to kick. Right. Just without Zach McCubbin in that side. It's
to kick a winning score. You know,
and I'd love to be wrong. But anyway, that's my consensus.
We'll know on Saturday afternoon.
So based on all of that, I'll tip Greensboro. So
I might pick Mont in that one, and I'm sorry to my good mate Neil Brindley, but I think I'll go with Mont.
Yep, fair call. Bandura, Heidelberg. This is no good because it's Heidelberg. They're just the good news is it's at Bandura. So it won't be 70 points or 60 points. It'll be 35 points.
35?
Yeah.
That'd be as close as anyone will get to them for the year.
Yeah, well, Bandura at home are a 3 or 4 goal better side.
Okay.
So I think Bandura, if they walk away with a 35-point loss, as unhappy as Scotto will be, it would be we've got closer than anyone else.
Here's the yardstick,
and right now, Bandura play finals the way they're playing footy in a very tight loss against them. I think Bandura is not a side I had in the final 5. I had them 6th or 7th, and I think they make it on their current form with the recruits they've got and what they're doing in the year of growth.
Yeah. The only concern for me is that with that growth and with that improvement in Bandura, you know, how does Vinny talk to his boys this week and say, right, okay, everyone thinks, you know, Daz on the footy shows said 35 points.
He won't want 35 points.
That's flex. Yeah.
He'll want a flex for sure. But anyway, I think it could be that close. North Heidelberg take on Hurstbridge at North Heidelberg. This is always a good tussle, but it's not at Shelley Street. So it's a big game at Yarrambat. So
what's Yarrambat's ground like? I've never been to Yarrambat's ground. It's big. Okay.
So that's the benefit. It suits North more than it does Hurstbridge, but Hurstbridge this year a little bit different. They got depth coming out of their butt, you know. So I think Hurstbridge get the job done here, not by tons. 18 points, I'm going to say. There's no real ground advantage to anyone here because it's neither person's home ground. But good on Yarrambat for putting on the day.
Well done.
And having North Heidelberg there for their home ground. I think that's fantastic sportsmanship. And the last one there, Banyule versus Eltham. I think Eltham will account for them pretty comfortably, probably by 35
Important game for
points.
both.
Yeah, Banyule have only won the one game, which was against Greensboro. Greensboro should have won that game. They were 18 points up at the 3/4 time, but JLV ripped them apart in the last.
But Banyule's other 3 games have been what? Mont, Heidelberg, and Hurstbridge.
Yeah, so tough games. Yeah, I just think Eltham are a better side at the moment.
Not denying that. I just think, you know, the next few weeks we'll get a look at Banyule and see where they're at. They're playing at Beverley Road. And depending on what their list and that looks like, you know, they'll be into this game up to their eyeballs, I think.
Definitely. I think so. So I guess, mate, that sums up where we're at. I think it's there'll be a bit of video if you're watching, if you're listening to this on your podcast, there should be video if you're looking at it through Spotify, YouTube, and all of those other channels. We're just trying that this week. Thanks to all of our fantastic sponsors behind us, which we just love having. You know, we're so blessed to have the sponsors we've got.
The support they're giving to try and, you know, put some time and energy and support into local football. Fantastic.
Insane. And look, we were a microphone short for the game you did yesterday. Waytech Rendering said, we'll just pick that bill up for you, mate. No dramas.
Fantastic.
You know, just good people.
Yeah, thank you.
And we're really grateful. So that being said, mate, we're going to call it a day. Excellent for the Daz and Pete wrap up. And we'll be back again next week, probably changing our mind on what that Final 4 looks like again.
Final
5. Till next week.
Have a good week.
Keep kicking goals.